In order to set up an environment for working with React, we can use the Create React App package available to us over npm. So the installation for that is npm.i, then create React app, and we'll throw on a tac G there to install that globally. Now I've already got that installed, so I'm going to go ahead and use the tool that is provided to us, which is Create React App. Then we just pass in a directory that we want to use for our application. In my case, that's simply going to be react-app. Now this is just going to take a couple minutes to install. It'll install a series of scripts and a scaffolded application for us. So once that's in place, we'll go ahead and cd into our directory, and we'll go ahead and load that up into our text editor. We'll go ahead and run our first script, which is npm start, which will launch the scaffolded out application. And we can see that in the browser. Now, for the purposes of our lesson, we're going to go ahead and kill off a handful of files. We're going to kill everything except for index.js and app.js in the source directory, and delete those guys. And then in our index.html, we're going to go ahead and recreate this guy. So we're going to start to see some errors here, but that's okay. So index.html, I'm going to call this guy React app. And then I'm going to create a target div here with an ID of root. This is going to be the target for our components in the DOM. And one interesting thing about create React app is when we do have an error, we'll see that error right here in the browser. We'll also see that here in the terminal. So in app.js, let's go ahead and just kill this guy right now. The error we're seeing is because we deleted the app.css, but I'm just going to go ahead and kill this off for right now. And we're going to import React from React, and then we're going to create a quick constant variable here called app. This is going to be our first component. It's going to output an h1 that says hello. Then we're going to export that by default. Now we're going to jump over here to our index.js, and the only real problem that we have right now is that this is importing index.css. But just to talk a moment about what's happening here, we're importing React, which is the library that allows us to build React components. We're also importing React DOM, which is the library that allows us to place our components and work with them in the context of the DOM. Then we're importing the component that we just worked on, the app component. We're using React DOM.render to render that component in its JSX format to the target that we created, that div with an ID of root. So if I go ahead and save this, we should be back up and running. So we've got hello there. We've also got live reload enabled. So if I change this to hi, we'll get a reload right there, and we can see our component now renders out hi. So we are good to start learning React.